You can make social media platforms. The only thing that you can't do is make them addictive.
How would you regulate that?
You have to tell them it's illegal.
Tim, it's 36 years now since you invented the web. I wonder, what are your reflections on just how fast it's changed and how much it's changed our lives?
Well, it's been quite a roller coaster journey from the sort of initial explosion of it.
You said in the book that social media networks employ deceptive algorithms which can feed you more and more horrible stuff and essentially then make money out of doing that. How do we stop that from happening, and can we?
The systems are trained to keep people on the platform, and so they're rewarded when somebody stays on the platform because of, for example, some hate speech. One of the things we could do is we could outlaw that. We could say you can make social media platforms. The only thing that you can't do is make them addictive.
How would you regulate that? How would you make those social media companies change their minds?
Well, you have to tell them it's illegal.
I know previously you said you were keen to steer clear of politics, so we don't need to go into any particular names, but I just wondered whether you think the kind of rise of populist leaders is directly related to the impact the World Wide Web and particularly social media has had.
I think there's a lot of evidence that polarization in general is due to the social media platforms. Yeah, they don't help.
And so do algorithms have too big a sway then on things as big as general elections?
I think so. That's what I understand. From the 2016 general elections, I think people have looked back at that and said that the algorithms had a large sway.
And obviously everyone now has social media on their phone, in their pocket. I've got two relatively young daughters who are heading towards that age where they're going to want to have smartphones. What would your advice be to me and to my daughters?
Well, I'd like to see you able to buy a smartphone with restricted access to the addictive things for your kids, but they have all the other good things. They should have Wikipedia. They should have the ability to call you home and tell you when they're coming home, and so on.
So you would still want them to have access to the web, just maybe not the algorithms within social media?
Yes.
Well, another thing which is sort of dividing opinion for both positive and negative, and you talk about this in the book again, is artificial intelligence.
What's important for AI is that it works for me. I wrote 10 years ago about the idea of, you could imagine this AI like called Charlie that works for you. And we've actually done it in the lab, and when you ask it which sort of running shoes you want to buy, then it actually gives you a recommendation which matches the particular, looking at what you're running, looking at your health, looking at your finances. You know, it makes recommends it really based on all of the data that it knows about all of the world that all the AIs do, but also knowing about you and focused on delivering the response, which is the best response in the world for you.
That's interesting, because it's almost like it's looking after you, and you draw comparisons with doctors and lawyers. You know, the doctors have a Hippocratic oath where they take a pledge to be caring for you. I mean, can there be an AI Hippocratic oath or something?
It certainly can. Yes, it can. You could even legislate it.
And you think that will make a big difference?
Yeah, I think it's really important. Yes.
If you were going into a school and talking to youngsters now, what would you tell them to be focusing on to make sure that they have the skill set to cope with whatever happens in the future?
They should learn how to learn. So things like learning physics and learning math and learning computer science. In a way, they teach you specific things, but also they teach you how to learn.
Are you very careful with who has access to your data? I mean, are you always the person who goes through the cookies and deselects every tick box? Are you worried about those sorts of things?
Sometimes I go through all the terms and conditions. I did with Pi.ai, because with Pi.ai I'm talking to an AI and I can talk about anything. So I made sure for that case. But yeah, for most things I don't. I don't
just accept all and click.
I do accept all. I know that in practice everybody else is doing that too.
Do you ever regret inventing the web?
No. On balance, I mean, there's a lot of bad things on them, but on balance there's so much good stuff. I think we need to keep Pandora's box open, just fix the pieces which are addictive.
And are you confident that can happen?
Yes, because the people who make those addictive systems, they know who they are.